The Champions League is finally back and there are some crazy good round of 16 games. So it's only right that I make my amazing Champions League round of 16 predictions. And trust me, there's gonna be a lot of upsets in this video because I am bold. Now we're starting this off with a huge game, PSG versus Bayern Munich. Now currently things are not looking good for PSG. In their last two games before this Champions League clash, they lost to Marseille 2-1 and also lost to Monaco 3-1. Now listen, you can make the argument that PSG are not trying their hardest in the league because they're already so clear at the top, but these losses just don't tell the whole story. PSG are actually going through an injury crisis right now. Neymar just recently came back from muscle fatigue, Lionel Messi has missed a week with PSG due to a hamstring injury, and Kylian Mbappe is all but set to miss the clash with Bayern Munich due to an injury as well. That's not all because recently Kimpembe, Mukiele, and Renato Sanchez are also out too, with nobody knowing whether they'll be fit for the game or not. So yeah, it's not looking too good for PSG. Now for Bayern Munich, it's the exact opposite. They've been doing well in the Bundesliga recently, being first place and also recently beating the likes of Wolfsburg 4-2 and Bochum 3-0. And they also don't have that many injuries to deal with. Yes, Sadio Mane is out, but he's edging close to a return. And besides that, everybody should be there at the game. Well, except Manuel Neuer, who is out for the season because of a skiing accident. How Neuer was allowed to go skiing, I have no idea. Anyways, who do I think is going to win this tie? Well, I actually have Bayern Munich beating PSG in the first leg 1-0. However, when all the PSG superstars come back, I got PSG winning that game at Munich 3-1. Which means PSG will be going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League with the 3-2 aggregate score. This prediction is a little bold, but hey, what did I say? I am bold. Next up, we got AC Milan versus Tottenham. Now, AC Milan have been horrendous ever since the return from the World Cup. They got destroyed by Inter Milan, their rivals, in the Supercoppa Italiana final 3-0. They got destroyed by Lazio 4-0, then got destroyed by Sassuolo 5-2, and then they lost again to Inter 1-0. And yes, I know, their most recent game was a narrow 1-0 win against Torino, and it was all thanks to Olivier Giroud coming up clutch. But still, this isn't the form you want to see going into the round of 16 of the Champions League. However, Tottenham haven't been doing so well either. Yes, I know, they beat a very good Fulham side 1-0 recently and also beat Manchester City 1-0 thanks to Harry Kane. However, in their most recent game, they got destroyed by a mid-table Leicester City team 4-1. How did Tottenham get clapped that hard? Pause. But yeah, both teams seem to be not doing so hot right now, not gonna lie. So, what's my prediction? Well, for the first game in Milan, I'm gonna go for a boring 1-1 draw with Giroud and Harry Kane scoring the goals for their teams. However, in the leg in London, I got Tottenham winning 2-1, making Tottenham win this tie on aggregate 3-2, and they'll be going to the quarterfinals. Sorry AC Milan fans, but I'm gonna be rooting for y'all. Let's move on to Club Brugge versus Benfica, which is a pretty interesting tie. Club Brugge was the surprise package of the group stages, no cap. They were doing super well at first too, beating the likes of Bayer Leverkusen 1-0, destroying Porto 4-0, even though Porto clapped them back 4-0, but we don't talk about that. And then they also beat Atletico Madrid 2-0. So it does seem like Club Brugge is a pretty capable team of pulling off the surprise. However, here's the problem. Club Brugge are currently 4th place in the Belgian Pro League and they are 20 points off the top where they should be. They've also drawn 4 times out of the last 5 games. Now recently they fired the manager that was impressive in the Champions League and hired ex-Bournemouth man Scott Parker to the job. But not gonna lie, I'm not too sure how to feel about that. Let's talk about Benfica now though, who are currently top of the Portuguese league pretty comfortably and only having 1 loss throughout the entire season so far. Plus, they topped their Champions League group with PSG and Juventus in it, and that was all thanks to a last-minute goal against Maccabi Haifa to make sure that they topped that group. Now that was a clutch goal. Overall though, despite Benfica selling Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea for over 100 mil, it does seem like Benfica are still doing good without him. So my prediction for this game is pretty simple. I got Benfica winning in the first leg 2-1, and then Benfica winning at home 2-0, which means Benfica are going to the quarterfinals with an aggregate score of 4-1. Next game up, we got Borussia Dortmund versus Chelsea, the Gio Reyna versus Christian Pulisic derby. Oh, you just love to see it. I'm just kidding, ignore my American propaganda. Anyways, Dortmund are having a decent season like normal. I mean, they're 3rd place right now in the Bundesliga and they've won their last 5 games, but it's still been a little difficult. Their defense is still terrible and they needed Gio Reyna to save them in the game against Augsburg where they won 4-3, and also in the game against Mainz 2-1 where Reyna saved them in the last minute. So yeah, Gio Reyna is basically Dortmund's Superman. Overall though, even if Dortmund haven't played the most impressively, they always find a way to get a win, and that's the most important thing. Now for Chelsea, their season is a bit all over the place. They currently sit in 9th place in the Premier League and recently drew to West Ham 1-1 and Fulham 0-0 even after all the new signings they made. Their new owner Todd Bowley has been splashing the cash and signed the likes of Enzo Fernandez, Madueke, João Felix, Mudryk, Badiashile, and many more players over this transfer window. Chelsea are not messing around when it comes to signing new players, but it feels like they still need a little bit more time to glue it all together. They're still missing that cohesiveness on the pitch. So yeah, you already know where I'm heading with this. Upset, baby! So yeah, in the first leg for Dortmund, I got BVB winning in this game 3-1, and of course Giorina is going to be scoring in this game. And then in the other leg, I think the game will be a 1-0 win for Chelsea after they glue it together, but that's not going to be enough because Borussia Dortmund will be the team that is going to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, winning 3-2 on aggregate. Yeah, this is a huge upset by me, not gonna lie. Now the next game, we got my club Liverpool versus the reigning champions of Europe, Real Madrid. As we all know, this is a repeat of last year's Champions League final where Real Madrid won 1-0 thanks to a goal by Vinicius Jr. And also, this is a repeat of the 2018 Champions League final where Karius sold the trophy for us. Yeah, Real Madrid pretty much owned Liverpool, not gonna lie. However, it is a new season, but Liverpool are trash. Now currently, at the time of me recording this, we're 10th place in the Premier League, and in 2023 alone, we lost to the likes of Brentford 3-1, Brighton 3-0, and most recently, Wolves 3-0. We just suck, bro. We're in shambles. Also in the Champions League, we finished second in the group, and this is pretty much because of that embarrassing 4-1 loss to Napoli in the first game. And although Liverpool usually turn into different beasts in the Champions League, it's looking quite unlikely. Now for Real Madrid, they haven't been looking all that good either. Yes, I know, they just beat Al Hilal to win the Club World Cup after a thrilling 5-3 game. But I see this game differently than others. I see it as somehow Real Madrid has conceded 3 goals to Al Hilal. No way Liverpool's offense is worse than Al Hilal's offense, right? I feel like this just gives hope to Liverpool that they can pierce through that Real Madrid defense. Plus, Real Madrid aren't doing that good in La Liga as well, being a few points behind Barcelona in the title race. And they somehow most recently lost to Mallorca 1-0. Now call me crazy, but since Real Madrid and Liverpool are both out of form, I feel like this tie can go either way. Now Real Madrid have owned Liverpool for too long, but everything has to come to an end eventually, right? That's why in the first leg, I think Liverpool is somehow gonna lock it in, and they're gonna be playing amazingly, and that's why we're gonna win the game at Anfield 1-0. And then in the second leg in Madrid, the game is gonna end in a 1-1 draw, which means that Liverpool will be going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. I know, I'm off the copium right now, but hear me out. The Champions League final is in Istanbul, and the last time it was held in Istanbul, yeah, Liverpool won it. Wanna know something crazier? When Liverpool won it in Istanbul, they weren't even top 4 in the league, just like we are this season. Additionally, the last time we finished second place in the Champions League group, we had to face a big team in the round 16 and overcame it despite all the odds, and then went on to win the entire tournament. So all I'm saying is, it feels like destiny for Liverpool to win the Champions League this year. Gosh, I'm off the copium so hard, man, I'm not gonna lie. I should just expect disappointment. What am I doing? Alright, swiftly moving on, we're gonna go to the next game, which is Eintracht Frankfurt versus Napoli, and this is a pretty interesting one. Frankfurt got second place in their Champions League group and are currently 6th place in the Bundesliga at the time of me recording this, which obviously isn't good. However, when Eintracht Frankfurt won the Europa League, they were 11th place in the Bundesliga, so league form doesn't really matter when it comes to Frankfurt and European competitions. Now Napoli, on the other hand, are having one of their most impressive seasons ever. They topped the Champions League group with ease despite losing to Liverpool 2-0 on the last game day, and they're also on top of the Serie A comfortably and only have 1 loss in the league as well. All of their players are enjoying extremely successful seasons as well, and especially Osimhen, who has 16 goals, 3 assists in 17 Serie A games. So although I respect Frankfurt a lot and acknowledge they have some really underrated players like Golomani and Daichi Kamada, I still think Napoli will get the better of them. And that's why I think the first leg will be a 2-1 win for Napoli, and then they will also win the second leg 2-1, giving them a 4-2 aggregate score win over the German club. Now let's move on to the next game, which is RB Leipzig versus Manchester City. This is a pretty decent matchup. Now RB Leipzig aren't having their most impressive season, with them currently being 5th place and recently lost to Union Berlin 2-1. But before that, they were on a pretty good roll, beating the likes of Schalke 6-1 and also beating Stuttgart 2-1. So these are not the most impressive Leipzig performances recently, but they're still not doing too bad. Now with Manchester City, let's be real, they're OP as hell. At the time of me recording this, they still have not played Aston Villa yet, but this season, Manchester City have been choking, even though they're super OP. They literally lost to Tottenham 1-0 in a must-win game to catch up to Arsenal, who are currently at the top of the league. And also, it seems like Haaland, City star boy, hasn't been going crazy in 2023 like he was earlier in the season. And it seems like most teams are figuring out how to stop him. Maybe Leipzig should be taking some notes. Who am I kidding? They don't need to take notes. They've literally faced Haaland so many times before when he was playing for Dortmund. I'm sure they have an idea on how to stop him already. Also, Man City are going through some legal trouble right now, and this could cause some disruptions with Pep Guardiola and maybe in the dressing room as well. And these 2 games against RB Leipzig could catch them off guard. Plus, we all know that Manchester City always choke in the Champions League somehow. They're gonna eventually choke it, so why not the round of 16? That's why in the first leg in Leipzig, I got RB Leipzig surprising everybody and beating City 2-1. And then the second game, it'll be a 1-1 draw, making RB Leipzig victorious. Yeah, this is a huge upset, I know, but imagine how smart I'm gonna look when this actually happens. Alright, last but not least, we got Inter Milan versus FC Porto. Now, both Inter and Porto are doing well in their respective leagues. For example, Inter Milan are second place in Serie A and pretty much have no hope of catching up to Napoli, respectfully, while FC Porto are currently second place in their league, and catching Benfica is kinda unlikely for them as well. They've also both had decently successful Champions League campaigns so far, with Porto topping the group and Inter coming second. So yeah, I think this game is pretty much a good 50-50. Since I am bold bold. I'm going to say that FC Porto is going to win this tie. I think Inter will win the first game 1-0 at the San Siro, but Porto will win the second leg 2-0, making them go through on aggregate 2-1. Anyways, let me know your own predictions of the Champions League round of 16 in the comments down below. And also remember to subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop my next video. Also, I highly recommend you check out my other videos. They're somewhere on the screen right here. Just click on it. Thanks.